was just getting a name right. And it's my sad duty to report that there are still 23 people in New South Wales hospitals. This morning I was able to attend Rabbi Eli's funeral, which was a celebration of a man that was a gift for our city and someone who did so much, not just for the Jewish community, but for everybody that lives in New South Wales. He had a particular joy for Hanukkah, where he would dance down the street, and he will be sorely missed by his family, by his friends. I'm also here to report that on the 22nd and 23rd of December, the government will call back the New South Wales Parliament to deal with urgent legislation that we believe is required pre-Christmas to keep the community safe and ensure there's unambiguous laws in place when it comes to public safety. Firstly, in relation to firearms legislation in the state, we are proposing a bill which hasn't been finally drafted, but we will share with the opposition as soon as possible, to cap the number of firearms, to reclassify straight pull-up and pump-action shotguns, to look at reducing magazine capacity for shotguns, for prohibiting belt-fed magazines in those shotguns, and crucially removing NCAT as an appeal mechanism once a designation has been made about withdrawing a licence from the registered authority. Now, I also say, and I also want to say today, that I am firmly of the view, having spoken with many community members, not just from the Jewish community, but right across Sydney, that protests right now in Sydney would be incredibly terrible for our community. In fact, they would rip apart our community, particularly protests about international events. I completely understand that there are people concerned about what's happening overseas, and of course they've got every right to be concerned, but my worry is about what's happening in Sydney right now. We'll look at, my concern is that a mass demonstration in this combustible situation with our multicultural community could light a flame that would be impossible to extinguish. So we're looking at reforms whereby when there is a terrorism designation in the state, the Police Commissioner may not accept applications for protests on the grounds that it will both stretch police resources and, secondly, add to community disharmony and, as a result, a combustible situation in the state.